Oh, yeah. I got nervous. I froze. I don't know what's going on. All right, bro.
Welcome in to Bridging Civil Tension. This is the show that we believe it's better to build a bridge, talk about things, and if we don't like what each other's talking about, go your separate ways. Right. Or, hey, maybe hook arms and walk the same way. But whatever you do, don't blow the bridge up, right? They're there for a reason. You're going to need it. Today, we are blessed to have, of course, host Phil Wallace on the show. Phil is award-winning author, coach, mentor, owns a clothing business. This guy has more oars in the water than there are oars.
Mad respect.
Great. And today, Phil, will you play the African-American part?
I'm going to stay consistent. That's the role that
All
we go
right,
with
so
today.
he will be the African-American part.
Yeah.
I'm Kent. I'm one of the owners, founder of 216, and I am not an award-winning author.
You could be.
You'll
get there.
But today I will play the old white guy from Iowa.
Ooh.
I'm throwing Iowa in there. Right.
Old move, Kyle.
On screen, you're going to see we are blessed beyond belief, blessed to have Karen Abbott-Trimuel with us.
Nice.
She is award-winning author, playwright. She does some coaching. I mean, everything she does is amazing. Really builds women up. I mean, awesome. It's awesome. Karen, welcome in. We are glad to have you.
And I will play the black female.
Hey, she's going to play the black female today. All right.
I am playing the part of the Italian American today.
Yeah. To my left, to your right, between Phil and I, sandwiched in here, we got Drew Cappuccino. He is an entrepreneur extraordinaire, father, husband, owns DCCS Studio, which is sponsoring today's show.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
DCCS is, give yourself a plug.
DCCS, business resourcing specialists, anything from real estate, insurance, technology, human resource, talent management academy, and now media.
And also an owner partner here at 216, which is awesome. He's going to be playing the white Italian
American. I like to go by Italian
American.
Yeah.
That's how you identify.
That's how I identify.
Hey, we're talking about Unmasked. Unmasked because Karen has written a book. Karen, but before we get into your book, let me finish my thought. That was just horrible radio right there. She's written a book, Ladies Night Unmasked.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's a cool book. It's a great read. And when I say a great read, it held my attention.
Right.
And it's like you're having a conversation, or it's actually like I was sitting in the corner of the room. And when I say that and we talk about it, you'll understand. It's a brilliant book, which is cool. But Karen, your passion is about empowering women. Yes. Tell us a little about that.
So I am really, really passionate about it because we are people that take care of everyone else except ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal is to help women bring themselves into the forefront of their own lives. So we're not excluding anyone, but it's time for us to take care of ourselves, right? So I'm really, I was in corporate America for over 30 years. And I was in an administrative field. So I was in a support role. Mm-hmm. So here I am at home taking care of family. I'm at work taking care of executives. And for 30 years, I was not really paying attention to myself. And when I say that, I wasn't considering my passions, my likes, my dislikes, what I want. I was all about helping everyone else reach their goals. And it wasn't until COVID or the pandemic hit that I really took a look at where I was in my life and where I wanted to be, and they just did not match up. So I thought about me as a child, and when we have little girls, what we do is we buy the kitchenette set and the dolls, and we tell them they're going to be great mothers and great wives. But most of the time, we don't take the time to say, what is it that you want to do, and invest in that with them, right? I could be a greater partner if I'm a better me.
Yeah.
I love that.
And now it has not been, so it's not an easy road, right?
No.
Just for women alone,
Right.
but for women of color, even more difficult.
Yeah.
And you've faced some adversities. You've had a lot of celebrations of success, right? But it was still hard. So my question is, and again, forgive me for playing the white part here, is what's so different from the road you have gone on than let's say my mom?
So there's a huge difference, right? The difference from the road that I've gone on, and I can go. You said your mom, so let's do apples to apples. Your mom and my mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sure. She is
Right.
younger than me,
So
so I don't want to make her think that she's my mom's age,
Right.
but maybe my wife. So we'll go with my wife. How's that?
That's
Because
okay.
Well done.
yeah.
Well done.
That's okay. There's just not a lot offered to Black women. You know, we always hear the first. She's the first to do this and the first to do that. Why do we have to be the first? We don't hear about the first white woman or the first. You know, it's when you talk about Black people, it's always the roles that we get when we're the first, right?
Right.
And me working in with executives, I was most of the time I spent time in the C-suite, and you can actually tell the difference. Now we may ignore the difference, but there's a huge difference in how I was treated versus how a white woman was treated. The opportunities that was offered to me, and versus the opportunities that were offered to them. And I was in a management role. So if I went and I had one of my employees who was Black, and I had a woman that was white, when I went with the review and wanted to give bonuses, the executives show preference. So it's there. And a lot of times we wouldn't say anything because I am the only Black in the executive suite. So if I want to continue to hold my position and take care of my family, then I have to hold my tongue.
So, Phil, what would the email say to that? Oh, you're playing the role of the victim, Karen. You're very successful.
I can't be. So I was a recruiter in the corporate world, right? So we've talked about this, right? We talk about, well, you guys got in because of this or that. Well, like she said, when you get to this level, there was only one up there. So we may get the job because of affirmative action, but when you start to move up that ladder a little bit, there's not much diversity there.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she said that she'd have to hold her tongue, I reflect back to, I would work with the decision makers and the hiring managers, and it was okay for this Karen to have an attitude problem. That's just how she is.
Yeah.
She can't. It can't be 10 years where in the corporate section when it comes to hiring that she's the crimp in the hourglass because of her attitude. She's not allowed to do that. And I can think of company after company where she's just the battle axe.
They're just waiting for it.
And it's almost like a pride that this lady gets to be rude and mean to everyone. You won't see it.
And she is not. She is not the poster child. She's wonderful.
No, I got nervous when you said we're having a Karen on the show. I thought,
beautiful.
Oh, hey, the good one.
Good, Karen.
but she's wonderful. You said something though when you first started though. You were talking about because you said you want to strengthen women, and then she said, but we're not excluding anybody. Right. You welcome everybody. I found that when it's people of color, we have to make that distinction.
Ooh.
Right. We've talked about this on the show that they're allowed to have this pride and they're allowed to have single in this parade. But when it comes to African Americans, why do you guys get to and we have to dilute our product to include
Where's White History Month?
365 days of the year.
Well,
on the other 195 pages of my 200 page history.
let me explain what I was saying when I said we don't exclude anyone.
Right.
When I was talking about women, when you uplift women, they go to, if I start paying attention to myself, I'm going to leave out my husband or my children. And my goal is to let them know, no, we're not excluding and saying they're not important. We're just saying you have to take some time for yourself. You have to add you into the inclusion of taking care of your family. So I'm not talking about, that was not about color. That was about, go ahead, I'm sorry.
But you're not wrong with that. What I'm saying is, like, you're supposed to be able to say, yes, I'm focused on women. Because like you're saying, I'm a better mother, I'm a better spouse.
Yeah.
Why is it that when you say I'm working on women, even if you say specifically I'm working on uplifting women of color, why is why? Well, is the world not going to be better if women of color appreciate themselves and respect it? Like any woman who feels like they're valued and knows their worth, like that's going to make a better product. Why are we complaining?
Right. And the women that I uplift, I have a group called WARD. It's Women Are Rising. We are a very diverse group of women. We're very diverse.
That's awesome.
Right. War, baby.
We're diverse. And when you bridge the gap, right? When you bridge that gap, we have so much to learn from each other, right? And we're able to have difficult conversations, right? Why do I feel the way I feel? Ken asks a great question. Okay, Karen, what makes it different from you than my mother? There's a huge difference. So when you have when you have a diverse group of women in the room and they're talking about this, we gain a better understanding. And my favorite word is understanding. We gain a better understanding of what each person is going through. And you can see it through a different lens. You know, we're so used to allowing the media to feed us our ideas, how to think, what to say, what to do, how they are, the divide. We allow other people to create these divides for us. Right. But when you are able to actually come together, you realize that we have more in common than not. But unfortunately, the systemic issues that are out there, they are keeping us away from each other. So why do you hide us from each other? Why do you want us to fight against each other? Is because if we come together, there's going to be an explosion of goodness and greatness.
So scrolling along the bottom before you jump in, Drew, you're going to see that's going to be Karen's website. I've got it up on the screen right now. But if you want to find out more about, what she does, how she does, her books, those things, we'll get to her books here again in a minute. But a great website. And truthfully, you got to check out this website because she's dynamic. She's just, when you talk about good humans, she's one of them.
Love it.
I mean, it's awesome.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, I mean, number one, you're awesome for doing such great work.
First and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, wow. It's more than impressive, Karen.
Thank you.
I have nothing but girls at home. I'm the only man at home, and I am raising empowered women.
Yes.
And I want that. And I want to make sure that there's no label to it either, because that is equality and it's his best when you don't label it. My daughter, who is now 15, I work for a local chamber as well. And there's a group that we had called Women Empowering Women. And my daughter asked me, she's like, why would you take half of the population away to help empower you? Because men can also do that to help women in that fashion. This is coming from my daughter, which I thought was brilliant. Nice. And she's like, you should call it people empowering others. Take those labels away. Yep. And until we start taking these labels away, equality will never be a whole, ever, in anything. If it's racism, if it's men versus women, if it's whatever. As we all visit here on the Blueberry, right?
Yeah.
It's about how we work together as a whole. There's nothing different. And seriously, and my wife is a multitasker. I could like turn on the light switch only. I can't do 5 things at the same time, right?
That's because you're labeled husband.
Right. But you killed that light switch though, didn't you?
I am the best at the light switch. I'm the best at the light switch. So, I love the fact that you said it's open to all. Otherwise, really, the group that you're creating is an entitlement group. And I actually mentioned that to this group, and they looked at me and said, "You hate women." And I was like, "There's no way I can hate women because I'm raising two powerful women along with my wife equally." So I'm glad to see that common sense is still common somewhat in the world, right? So yeah, thanks for what you're doing. That's awesome. I just wanted to throw that out.
No,
there.
it's true. I've got 3 daughters, 1 son, and it is true. It's I love Phil, you've known my girls since they were very little. I love how strong my daughters are. It's fun because I don't have to jump in front of them. I stand behind them.
We were talking about that before.
That's right.
Don't do it.
That's right. You understand that, right? And when I talk, everybody's got their own personalities, but I could say, okay, this Ashley is brilliant. She is a clinical psychologist, and her passion is to help people, kids, teens, preteens live with the diagnoses that they have, right? She's awesome at what she does. Right. My middle daughter, pardon the language, I just like, that's Colette, that's my badass bitch right there. Right. Because hey, she's gonna be like the buffalo. She's gonna head into the storm.
Right.
Right.
She's tough. Yeah.
She's gonna head into the storm until she gets to the other side. So she doesn't have to sit in it. And then Lucy is, the baby, but she's that you know what? I love you. That's it. Right. She just, hey, come, you want to hang out and talk? Let's go. But they're all strong and individual. So when
they get that from their mom.
Yes. And their looks too.
Hey God,
they have hair at the start.
Nothing wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a bald-headed teenager, well, a woman, right? So the title of the show is Unmasked, and that's what we're really talking about is taking that mask off. This isn't the COVID mask that we're talking about.
Sure.
So, take that one off too.
Yes, please. Yeah, go.
Sweet. So we were talking about being inclusive, right? And one of the things, and we've seen this with coaching players, is sometimes if a player sticks around their teammates, then they settle into a role.
Yeah.
And they'll train with us, but when they get back around their team, well, my role on this team is to pass the ball to Kent and Drew. And I think there's power, though, in getting away from that aspect, because especially if you're a woman, sometimes you get in the corporate setting, your opinion is not necessarily valued here. I can meet with Karen and be like, oh, I have a voice. And sometimes that's where you get a chance to take the corporate mask off and find your voice.
Yeah.
Now we can talk here. And what she's saying is we would give them dolls and stuff like that, and you're going to be a good wife. No, what are you passionate about? Now you're finding yourself.
Yeah.
Now you're finding your true voice and your true passion in life. Now you can bring that product back out and be a stronger version in the corporate world where you realize you don't have to.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't have to play docile or down or any like that. No. I'm probably the most intelligent person at this table. So I like that aspect of it because it keeps you out of your shell and takes that mask off.
Yeah.
Well put, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Scott, thanks, Scott. Scott says most people need to raise their kids that way. We all have masks in different situations.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
But the other point of that is society gives, you know what I'm saying? You may not have a mask, but because you're not pink,
right?
I gave you a mask.
Yeah.
Look, you could see me, Karen. We could see me. So like us, y'all, Scott, and if you add maybe 6 more white people, as dynamic and all that as you might, we'll probably sit at the table and nod, make a few quiet gestures because we both know what the deal is. Y'all are trying to hear what we got to say, and you wouldn't think that these personalities are beneath the surface because we got to keep the corporate mask on and play the game. And so corporations miss out on that.
Yeah,
what they tell her that she can and can't do.
The mask they gave her,
right?
Yes.
So
the mask that we wear proudly, and until we take it off, right?
But that's a hard thing to do, is to take that mask off.
You get so
it's you know what? Because we fear taking that mask off, and sometimes when you go internally, right? Because we've been taught everything is outward, inward, but it's really inward, outward, right? So it's not until you really go inward and see your value. You know, when you go to companies, they do this annual review with everyone, right? With everyone, they do an annual review, and we think that we have come to believe that the most important part on that annual review is what they think of us. It is not. It's your self-assessment.
Yeah.
What you bring to the table. And we take on whatever they think. It doesn't matter how great you're doing, because they don't remember, by the time they come to your annual review, they don't remember 80% of what you've done. You have to tell them. That's why they have the section for you to say, let us know your accomplishments, because I don't remember. I'm not paying that much attention to you like that. But this is just what I think, right? Until we take the self-assessment and really look at ourselves, know who we are, know what we want, and know what makes us happy, we're going to stay at dead-end jobs that don't notice or recognize us. We're not going to go for the things that we want to go for. We're going to wear the mask and wear it happily until one day we get up in age and say, okay, now I'm retiring. I never got to do anything that I wanted to do because I never saw the value in me enough. I allow other people to put layers upon me of what they thought, and that's who I became. So, and that's why you see a lot of people now, even though they're retiring, they're doing something different because they're discovering themselves for the first time.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And that is awesome. That's the voice of Karen Abbott-Trimuel. She's author, playwright. I mean, just a successful coach. I mean, what she does is great. And the book, actually, you wrote a play. It was a play first, yeah?
Yes, it was a play. Yes. Ladies' Night Unmasked is actually a play. It was the first part. If you notice, there's two parts in that book. When I did the first part of the play, people wrote me and said, please don't leave it there. You have to take this further. So I listened to what they said and went in the office. In 3 hours, I had the second part of the play, and we came back out with the second part and sold out. And it's an incredible story. Again, I advocate for women. And when you read about each woman, everyone can find a piece of themselves in there. And you had women that drugged their husbands, and because of the name of the play, the husbands didn't want to come. But at the end, they were like, I am so glad she brought me, because it was really not just about women. Men wear masks as well. I've been through some of that. During the pandemic, people were so sad, right?
Yes.
People were bored. Husbands and wives probably looked at each other for the first time in a very long time, and they had to spend time together. And there was a lot of depression going around. So I said, I want to make people laugh, but I also want to make people think. I took the play and turned it into the book, because I could get the book to people because we weren't out and about.
Right. Yeah. And then I mean, this is a serious play. This isn't like one that, the sixth grade class put on. Right. I mean, this is an amazing,
the real deal.
Yeah, it's a huge production. It's awesome. And then the book, and let me see if I can pull that up here. On our website too, you just go to books and there it is. And it's Ladies Night Unmasked. Yeah. And it is written great. Like I said, Phil, you write very much the same way.
Okay.
In the fact that it's just like there's a conversation. It's not like King James version or something like that, right? And so as I'm reading this, I'm literally with these ladies. You can see it, and you can see it, and you can, and I can smell the wine. I can, everything. Right. It's like, well, this is really, really cool, right?
That's awesome.
And it was just kind of just kept me in there, and I was like, man, I'm getting tired, but like I don't want to put this down at this point, right? And it's great, and there is a surprise in there. I'm not gonna say the surprise.
Yes, but there is a surprise.
Spoilers,
right? The surprise is what I would say is try to figure out who the author is.
Okay,
right? But you can find it out on Amazon. You can go to her website there and purchase now. I think it's like $7 on Kindle. You know, maybe $12 or something for a paperback, or 8, 9. I don't know.
It's actually good.
It's a really good price. But go check it out because it's really, really cool. Now, when I'm reading this and I'm not and I want to bring Jessica back, is, you know, she says, you know, Karen, how do you do that? How do we take off the mask? And here's what I see from reading this book. You know, it's got the masquerade mask look to it, but I go, it depends what mask you have. Some masks are like the movie mask where you just your face pulls with it because you can't pull it off. Yep. Some of them are the masquerade where you just move it out of the way and you can put it back. Some are the little plastic masks from the 70s when we would go trick-or-treating, and you can pull it up or put it down, but you never really take it off. Right. And so it really depends on where you're at. And through this journey of this book, Karen, each one of these ladies has those different masks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They have different masks, and it's not until they go internal, right, and actually view the traumas, or whatever the passion was, whatever I didn't do. You know, some of us have goals that we've never even reached, and those things haunt us, right? So whatever it is blocking me, and you will not be able to take the mask off until you go internally and find yourself, right? Until I know who I really am, can I remove the mask, or I'm going to be this alter ego, this representative, until I really know my authentic self. Who am I? And when you start really looking into yourself, delving into who you are, you realize that a lot of things I thought I liked, I don't like. I just liked it because somebody else liked it, right? Some things that I'm doing, I really don't want to do. That's not me, but I've taken it on because of outside influences. And when you really, the most difficult part is really self-examination. Self-examination. It's easier to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm interrupting, but that's hard.
It is hard.
Here's why I say that. I've been a husband, be 31 years in June, right? My wife knows I'm dumb. Okay, that's why she sticks around. Right. But women, again, men can turn things on and off because that's the way society has told us, right? The kids start acting up. Guess what? I'm going to the garage. I can't deal with this, right? I had a hard day at work. Leave me alone. Mm-hmm. But the first word out of the kid's mouth is mom, mom. That's right. So Karen's in the C-suite all day. That's stress. And she's got to put that mask on and play that role during the day.
Yeah.
And she had a hard day. And she come home, and then I go, what's for dinner?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So for you, for women, when I say you, for women to look internal to find your true self, how can you?
Well, first you have to realize that even in a marriage, you are two individuals that came together as a unit, but I'm still an individual.
Yeah.
Right.
And we both need to respect that about each other. I shouldn't have to lose myself in our relationship or in our marriage to make you feel good or to become your wife. So there's things that I like and I want to do, and I shouldn't have to give those things up because I'm not asking you to give those things up. Like you said, I can cut myself on and off. They say, Mom, I can go sit in the garage and watch the game, but she still has to be mom. Right.
That's right.
So when you go internal, like you said, that's not an easy thing because you are going to change. There is going to be change. And when you change happens around you. Right. But you shouldn't have to wait till the kids get grown to want to be yourself and do the things you want to do. So it's just saying that, yes, I got married because I chose to spend my life with this person. But that doesn't mean I have to deny myself to love you.
Well, that should be based on an equal partnership anyway. Right. You know, unfortunately, I know a lot of it out there is not. Right. My household is an equal partnership.
Mine is
dinner.
Dallas carries a load.
I manage kids. I do the handoff when need be. When my wife's, when you know the level of voice is getting higher, then it's time to tag in.
Right.
Otherwise, all hell breaks loose. So we watch each other's backs in that fashion. I wish I could say that for all relationships, but Karen, you're 100% right. And there's 1,000 books out there that'll say it too, and I don't want to regurgitate somebody else's stuff, but you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself in order to help others.
Yeah.
And you got to get on the right bus. And that means the people you surround yourself with have to matter. And they have to follow that same line. Otherwise, you get off the bus and you wait for the next bus. Or you kick people off the bus and you replace those people with people that matter. And that's exactly what you're doing by creating this.
What I love that she says is before you get on that bus, you got to know who you truly are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, women, you have a sister, business person, girlfriend, wife,
best friend.
Maybe one of my masks is addiction. Maybe, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe it's, I'm the choir director at church, so I've got to wear that mask, right?
Yeah.
And that's that tough piece to truly find, not just for women, for anybody really. But the scariest view is looking in the mirror and look who's looking back at you, right?
Exactly.
And that's that's the beauty of this book,
right?
Is that it kind of goes through those different masks with the players in this book, right?
Yes. How awesome would it be to be able to enter the room as yourself?
Ooh, how scary. Right?
But how awesome.
Yes.
How
true. Freeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the there's got to be pushback, right? Because of the mask that the ladies have wore for so long, is the mask that Black and brown people have wore for so long. It ain't that easy, Karen. Oh, it's a cute book. It ain't that easy. Yeah,
No,
it'd be great. Right.
But work has never been easy. And the sad part is we've been taught to look outside of ourselves and become like somebody else to get up, to rise. I don't want to look outside myself. I want to embrace myself. So I'm not going to enter the room and act like I'm different. I'm not going to walk in the room and look at you like, oh, I'm the only Black woman in the room. No, I'm Karen Abbott-Trimuel entering the room. And I'm showing up as myself. So, that goes back to the divide. You want me to act a certain way. I don't have to act at all. I am not in a play. I am showing up. This is real life. I am showing up as myself. So, this is what it is. But until when we come together, we say, well, if we all unite and we come together, it's going to be great. No, if we don't work on ourselves individually, you come together, unite, you're just a bigger mess. So we have to take care of ourselves 100%. And then unite. So each person has to go internal. And that's what I coach. That's what I teach. I teach that let's work on you. Whatever the problem is let's work on you. And that problem will resolve itself.
That's gorgeous. Facebook user out there, not sure who it is, but says, you are an amazing woman, Karen, and I am blessed to see it up close. You truly practice what you preach.
Thank you.
Awesome. For Facebook user, go ahead, follow, subscribe, and then we'll know who you are. Join the family. Join the 21 family. Jessica Rose, good morning, says, appreciate you more than you know today.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you so much.
And listen, I've had the opportunity to speak with Karen a couple times before the show. This is her genuine self. She ain't, this ain't a mask that she's wearing for this show just to get in. I mean, this is who she is.
I took it off. I took it off.
She took it off. Yeah. I love it. And if you want to learn how to take those, I'm telling you, this book is a huge way to do it.
Right.
And it's so brilliantly woven, right? It's a masterpiece. Right. It's cool.
Thank you.
It's amazing, actually.
It really is. It really is. Internal. We all love struggles, color regardless, right?
Yeah, we all have our
Yes. Yes.
We all have it.
We
Yeah.
do.
I can't read.
We have more in common than we
Look,
have
I
more in
can't.
common.
The glasses are just for show.
That's right. Depends which line I'm looking at. I'm sorry, Gus. All right, so I would be. We've got to give a shameless plug to a new show coming up in March where you're going to be the host, and it's called Individually United.
Love it.
It's really cool. Give us a little sneak peek. What's that all about?
Spoilers.
So, Individually United celebrates inner strength, power, and beauty that comes from healthy collaborations and relationships. So, I am co-hosting the show with Jamie Maravich, who came up with this incredible name. When she said it, their hair went up on my arms. I was like, this is great, because we're individuals. It goes back to what I teach and preach, right? We're individuals first. And then we can unite with each other and have a very healthy collaboration. So our goal is to entertain our listeners while making introductions and sharing information. Jamie and I both have a large network of people who have accomplished a lot and some who have overcome a lot. So sometimes we'll have guests sharing their personal journeys, and sometimes we'll be having topics about mental health, financial literacy, social media, all of that. So our goal is to make every hour feel like it was time well spent as we collaborate with others.
That's it. A little shout out to am I reading that right? Allie Hightower. The book is phenomenal, which is great. SG3, host of the Reject Rundown and guest host a lot on Let Me Tell You Something, Brother, says I'm excited to watch the new show. It's gonna be good. And it is. Truly two dynamic ladies that I'm super psyched about, because we just need more of that voice.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna be really cool. And that's when you're gonna want to like, watch, follow, subscribe. It's going to be turned into a podcast. I mean, this thing is going to.
I got goosebumps, man. That's going to be
awesome. And that's the honest God truth. There's a lot of people that come to me throughout the week. Hey, I want to show. Hey, I got to, because everybody thinks this is easy and cool, and you take a lot of energy. But when I was sitting with them and they told me, I got goosebumps. I was like, that is cool. Literal goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, I like that. Individually, you're not. And a lot of times people would be like, hey, yeah, I want to do a show and it's called Macho Man. There's something stupid. And you're like, all right, well, let's think about that. But these two ladies brought it. Go ahead.
Jamie is also part of the war group, Women Are Rising. So awesome. we are, let me tell you, we love each other. We embrace each other. We're rising together. And I'm really excited about this show. This show is going to do amazing things for people, as well as for us, because collaboration is everything. And if we can sit like you three guys are sitting, if we can sit at the table and all have dialogue, right? Like we don't have to sit there and be quiet. We can actually speak up. This world will be such a different place.
So true. And if you've ever read the book The Go-Giver, these two ladies live that principle.
Bob Burke.
Bob. But these ladies literally, their goal in life is just to help as many people be successful, help as many women be successful and find their voice, take their mask off. It's crazy cool. And that's where we, Phil and I, with this show are like, all right, we've got to start, let's start changing the wind that's in our sails to say, let's start bringing on people who are successful and making a difference, right? Not the first, as Karen said. And hey, Karen, I was like, hey, after I met her, I'm like, you got to be on the bridge. Because it's amazing what she's doing, and you, there's a little bit of her story in her book, right?
Right. Well, it's no one particular person, but a part of me is in every person.
Yeah.
So there's a piece of me in each person. There's something about that woman that's part of me. And I guarantee everybody that reads it, whether you female or male, you're going to say there's part of me in that person, or I strive to do that, or I held back on this. I will tell you this, when you do the internal work in yourself, it makes me become the best me that I can be. And then I'm a better wife to my husband. Me and my husband, Trimuel, we are like sockets, right? One is the plug and one is the socket. And we have to be working properly. So when we're plugged in, we're working. It's electric, right? I can also be a better mother to my children. I have 3 wonderful children, my daughter, Melissa, my son, Brandon, and my daughter, Brianna. And then I have 3 grandchildren, Kyron, Kason, and Malaya. So I noticed that once I began to work on self, and it's not easy, it's hard, but it's worth it. You know, things that are worth it are hard. So once I did that, I noticed that it was better for them. It was healthier for them. So I'm able to show up. When I show up, I probably stand out because I'm myself. I'm not here to impress anyone. I'm just being myself.
I love it.
You being yourself is impressive.
It truly is.
You definitely brighten up a dark room.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
And again, if you go out to her website, you'll see it scrolling at the bottom there. And if you just pop on there, you can, both are you've written another book as well.
Yes,
right?
I do. Yes.
And tell me about that book, because I have not read that one yet.
So that's a powerful book. It's Check Your Assets and Know Your Value: A Woman's Guide to Becoming Her Authentic Self.
Yes.
And that in that book, it goes into us being little girls, and our lives are, and our path and our journey is already set out for us. But how do I get back to who I am? And that book kind of helps to guide you along the way. And I use some of my own personal experiences in that book to say, this is what I had to think about. This is what I had to look at in order to find me.
Well, yeah. So why was this so important to you? Why, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who sit, women that sit and go, man, I gotta really be true to myself. You know what I'm saying? But this really became important to you. Why is that?
So it was very important to me because I'm a true believer that the message starts with the messenger, and then the message should go out. So if you have gems and you're not sharing it, then how can you expect the world to be better? You can't. If you're just holding all of it for yourself and harboring it to yourself, you're not helping the next person. And if I'm not sharing it, how am I actually creating a better environment around me? So I can give you the gems. You can choose to use it or not, but at least I put it out there. So at the end of when I leave this earth, this is my prayer every night. I just want to be successful in completing the task that I came here to do.
Well, you know what's interesting about that, and we say it in every show. She's actually being the change that she wants to see in the world today.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if everybody did so, it would definitely make a little more of a rapid response. Would you think? Well,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just talking about that personal responsibility aspect of, let me make sure that I'm my best self. Yep. I could be better in brotherhood with you.
100%.
I'm better as far as brotherhood with her.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
That's going to work out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome.
When you're saying check your assets at the door and understand the value in yourself, and even with taking the mask off, being in corporate can remind you, like you said, we got to hold our tongue, right?
Yes.
So it's hard for me to be like the vocal Phil Wallace in an environment where I have to, check my tone or check what I'm saying or make sure that I don't be too upset or passionate because I don't want to be an angry black guy, right?
Yeah.
I think that something that will help as far as with taking your mask off is realizing you're not your roles, you're not your current circumstance, and you're not your current task, right? That you have to do at the job. Like she's based on what like she's not just a passive, docile woman just because she had to play that role or wear that mask at the office.
Exactly.
He said she's a bright light, right?
Yes.
This is just the role that you had to play. And there might be a time, right? You had to do what you had to do in the corporate world to get where you wanted to get. But don't make that connection that this role I have to play is my identity.
Yes.
The character on this particular stage, right? And don't identify. And like she's saying, once you stop doing that, you realize, I didn't really like this. I don't really like having to watch what I have to say. That's when Kid told me. I was like, "Can I say it?" And Kid was like, "Yeah." I love being able to actually say how I feel on particular topics, and you realize, okay, I know what I love. I realize I don't like this at all, so I won't settle for it. And this actually
Yes.
is that I was over here. So I think that a lot of people take their roles or circumstances that are temporary, and like the things that they have to do as far as their 9 to 5, and they say, "This is my identity." Don't make that
Yeah.
connection. You have to understand that you are different than that.
Okay. So, but now, and for people all around the world who are watching this, and then people here in the United States, are they look at it and go, "Oh, okay, you guys are in Chicago, yeah, oh yeah, yeah." Karen's probably from Chicago, inner city. She's probably, yeah. Well, that's good. That's a good place to have that play. And little bumpkin town, Iowa, is like, that play ain't coming here. What? Why do I want to see if she got if old girl got her groove back? That ain't good. That ain't good for me, right?
Well, even in that, different strokes, different folks. Right. Everything is not for everybody.
Right.
So if you don't, I don't even want my place someplace that they don't want it. because if you don't, it's my play. I want it to go to people that can enjoy it. So the gems that's in my play that you don't want, you may learn something from it, but since you turned it away, you're not going to get the gems that's in my play. I wanted to go back to something that Drew said. Drew, you said titles. When I coach, the first question I ask people is, who are you? And they spew off titles. I'm a mother, I'm a doctor, I'm a teacher, I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm like, but that's not who you are. That's what you do. That's a title. And when I ask who you are, I'm a creator. I'm a strong person. I'm very wise. I'm very intelligent. That's who you are. You're not these titles, and you don't want to become these titles. I worked for CEOs, and let me tell you, yeah, that role is great until you're no longer the CEO. And then you really find out how people really feel about you. So you don't have any friends. You have a title. And with that title came some power. But at the end of the day, they forget who you were because you no longer carry a title. And you don't even know who you are because you was the title. So, so when you think about that, if you don't go internal and do that work, you're going to get lost in the system.
Yeah, my dear friend and co-founder of this station, Ron Hostry, always said CEO stood for career-ending opportunity.
Wow. Well, I'm a firm believer. I'm a solid entrepreneur just due to the fact of I did corporate as well, played a lead play in corporate, and titles are for children.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's only two titles that really are. You're a doer or a not doer and a talker. And if you can be both, then you're well-rounded. That's what an entrepreneur is. Therefore, if you know how to go get it and you don't have to play by other people's rules to do it, and therefore people around you don't have to act as somebody else, right? To be around you to try to, hey, Karen, how is your day going? And it's a lot of this pretend acting, and if you can read a room very well, you could see it a mile away.
Yes.
Versus being yourself. And business, a lot of people say don't take business personally. Well, I do, due to the fact of, because that's what I do.
Right.
It's part of my personal, and my business is all the same. But if I offend somebody because of the way I do something, I'll try to correct it, because that's not what my goal is. Right. My goal at the end of anything is to help as many people as I possibly can on this planet before I die. That's my goal. Yeah. Business follows after. I never pitch. What I do is I help. If I help 3, I get 5. And it's just natural effect. For every action, there's a reaction. Yeah. And if you could do that with good morals and moving forward, so like very similar to what you're doing, I have a group that's one of the fastest right now on I think growing on LinkedIn, Shared Connections. Yeah. And we started during the pandemic. We wanted to see what we could do for an outreach, and we started with 15, and we're up to 800-900
Wow.
on list, and it's every Tuesday. You get to log in. Love to have you as a speaker, by the way.
Yeah, definitely.
And
not
I
on
think
not on the first or third though, Tuesday.
right,
Okay.
right. But yeah, so I think that the way you're structuring this is 100% authentic, and authenticity is a word that's overly used today.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to be authentic and authentic sales, and I'm human resources being authentic. There's nothing authentic about human resources in itself. Been in it as a recruiter,
great.
right? It's that's like it's a wonderful pain. There's no such thing as a wonderful pain.
Right.
Pain is pain. It's an oxymoron. So so I think that you're whatever you're doing, keep doing, man. You're doing the Lord's work, and
Thank you, Phil.
I'm excited. I got to read the book now.
Right.
Kent did give me a heads up because I was just kind of surprise visiting today.
That's okay. I'm happy you're here.
Yeah.
Karen, I really think that you're proof of the inside work and the inner work, right? And knowing yourself, because when you asked the question about Iowa, you notice how like she kept a smile and there was no maliciousness, there was no anger or anything like that. She's like, no, I know my product. I'm cool with my product, and I don't want my product in a place that's not appreciated. Right? When you're moving with love like she is, like, you don't have to get offended. If you don't want this good advice, if you don't want this great friendship, if you don't want this great product, I'm not the one missing out.
Yeah, but you know what really matters out of that is, and you might not want it in a place where it's not wanted, but we're speaking as a whole. That might be like 2, 3, 4, 5 people out. How many?
Right.
And you're what you're pushing out is an educational process. It's got to start somewhere. And wherever that starting is, you want it that ripple effect, right? You want to drop that coin in the pond, and then you want it to spread out. Sooner or later, the place where it didn't want to be,
they're gonna want it.
Get it.
Right.
That's why I said they're gonna want it. Once they realize what it's doing, I don't have to get upset about it. I said to my husband, he's in an Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute band. So
cool.
we were in New York. They were playing in New York. And I couldn't go in with him and for a part of it for one of the shows. And he said, oh, no, I want you here. I said, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go and I'm going to gamble. But remember this day, because one day they're going to ask me to be here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem. It's absolutely not a problem. They're going to be happy that I walked through the door, in the show, because they'll realize, so you don't have to get upset about anything.
Right.
What's for me is for me. Nobody can stop that. No one can stop that. No one anywhere can stop that.
And that ladder to success, and when you climb the ladder and you feel like you get to the top and there's your success. No, each rung of that ladder is a success, right?
Yeah.
And so you're just constantly grabbing and pulling yourself up through between the rise of the ladies. That's a studio waiting to happen, to be honest with you.
Yeah. We're talking about that down in Lansing.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That would be great.
Look at that. This is just her page here. I mean,
beautiful website, by the way.
It is a great website.
Thank you.
Pictures on it aren't bad either.
Oh, right.
Thank you.
Candid.
I mean, visit her website. It's scrolling at the bottom there. And I think I can't read it, but if my memory serves me right, I think it's just Karen Abbott-Trimuel.com.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there any other way that they can get in touch with you? An email or something? I don't want to give out your cell phone, but
yes, the email is also on the website. It's KAT at KarenAbbott-Trimuel.com.
That is awesome. Now, besides the new show that's going to be on the 21/6, the new podcast, all that good stuff.
Is she on social media? Any other platforms?
Any other platforms you're
yes,
out there?
Yes, Facebook. Karen Abbott-Trimuel. Everything is my name. Karen Abbott-Trimuel on Facebook. I need to get Instagram. I hadn't been on Instagram, so I have it there. So I will be logging back on there.
Nice. Now, as we were talking to, not only are you involved in war, right? women are rising. So
It's
please,
awesome.
please don't take that off or mute the video when we say that. We're not promoting violence.
Exactly. Yeah. Women are rising.
You also said that you're part of a group that's inclusive, kind of like
Yes. So
Yeah.
I am part of a group I live in Lansing, Illinois, and I'm part of a group called Common Ground. Common Ground is where we partner with other people within a community. Some are outside of our community of different ethnicities.
Yeah.
Love it. So me and my husband, we're partnered with another couple. We meet at each other's house once a month for dinner, or we go out and we have the best conversations. So they get to hear it from our perspective. We get to talk about something from their perspective. And what that has done is we have learned so much, right, from each other. So, and we built some fantastic relationships. Like we call each other sister and brother, and they've introduced us to other people, their friends. We've introduced them to our friends. And well, what I said at our last meeting is, I don't see this thing as a group. I see this community branching out to other communities, because you want it to be all encompassed. Come on, people, let's start talking about it. So don't just lump me in with what you see, and I won't lump you in with what I see. Let's come together and see each other individually. Let's get individually united, right?
It's so awesome.
That is it. Of course, we're running on the back side of this. We're down to the last 4 minutes. This hour went by fast.
Yeah.
And Karen's fastly becoming one of my favorite people.
She already is my favorite.
Right. And if you get a chance, Phil, I'll give you her contact information.
Perfect.
But I've had a busy week, right? Because of Drew, the stuff that you're going through with the loss of your brother, and I did a horrible job.
It's okay. Thank you.
And I'm telling a story because I want you to understand. I want everybody listening to understand the person that Karen is. So I did a horrible job communicating with her this week, prepping for this show, because of what you're going through and just trying to pick some up pieces and keep things, all the plates spinning, right? And I was able to get with her a brief time yesterday, and I apologized. I said, Karen, I said, I'm not trying to use an excuse. It's just crazy. Here's what happened. So I'm trying to keep all the plates spinning. And you know what her response was? She goes, Kent, I just told Jamie, I go, I hope he's okay.
Right.
Right. And it took my breath away when she told me that, because a lot of people aren't like that.
No.
Right. So, I mean, that's the true, authentic her. Yeah. Right. And it's hard for me to convey that through this little hour show.
Sure.
But for all of our listeners, all of our followers, people out there, that's what Individual United is going to do. This show is going to help you understand, to see her true, authentic self. Right. Now, that's something I would hear from one of you guys who are my brothers, right? Mm-hmm. Who we are tight.
Right.
This is a lady who I've literally spent less than an hour with, just in conversation, who said, and I just hope that he's okay.
Nurturing and caring is natural for her.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Right. So that's her. So
I picked that up.
I marvel at her knowing her true, authentic self. So if you're a woman out there, you're a man out there, you're struggling to find who you truly are. Yeah. You have those masks on. Reach out to her. Yeah. I mean, she can help you not only see which masks you have, but help you learn how to take them off.
Yes.
Love it. Which is, and if I could give the listeners that feeling of understanding it, because it's something that you guys know, I'm always on that journey of who am I truly, where am I at?
Yep.
Because I wear a lot of hats, different shows, different personalities, coaching, whatever, right? Yep. And I'm trying to find that, and she lives it.
That battle of who am I versus what have I settled for? What
have
I conformed?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And knowing the difference between the two.
Yeah. So very, very excited. So once again, the website is Karen Abbott with 2 B's, 2 T's, Trimuel, TRIMUEL, and .com, right? So check her out there. We'll put it up there again. But yeah, we'd absolutely come back anytime. You are now part of Bridging Civil Tension. You can come back anytime.
Right, I'm excited. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. It has been a pleasure meeting you, Phil, and Drew and Kent. Thank you. You know how I feel about you. This has been a great discussion.
Yeah,
Very good discussion.
I love it.
We've just cracked the show a little, right?
I can't wait to point you in so many different directions.
Promise you.
Oh, thank
I
you.
can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm gonna aim you like a gun.
Oh,
God. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We got to bounce, but listen, coming up still today in a half hour at 10:30 on Fridays is Innovative Strategies with Bill Hasse, financial education as well as small business development. At 1 o'clock, we've got the Neighborhood Pulse with Kevin Callback, all about real estate and how to run a real estate business. At 3, we've got In the Know with Steph and Joe, funny stuff and small business development. We've got a ton. Now on the first and third Thursdays, we've got our guys. It's called Roger That Chronicles. It's for veterans, by veterans.
Nice.
Great show. It aired. We did the pilot yesterday.
Pilot's out there. Check it out.
Next week it'll be live coming up in March on the first and third Tuesdays at high noon. Is going to be Individually United with yours truly, Karen Abbott-Trimuel and Jamie Maravich. Going to be good stuff. We've got the DCCS leveling up with Drew Cappuccino. We just got so many exciting things, and just a little.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but we're probably going to have a show called High by 5. And it's at 4:20 on every Thursday.
There you go.
And it's a dispensary.
Brought to you through, maybe Ivory Hall, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. So we're blessed to have everybody. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Karen, anytime, you're always welcome. And if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to call.
Thank you so much.
Promise here, 21 Bridging Civil Tension. Be good, but more importantly, be good to each other until we meet again.
Love you guys.
Love you too. Thank you.
Did you hit the button?
I don't know. I think so.